Coming to our webinar topic, denim coloration with sulfur dyes. In our childhood, we often see thunder during the rainy season. And our parents advised to us to not to see the thunder, where it just flashes and gone away. Have you ever noticed that is this any use of this thunder just flashes with huge noise and gone away? Is God is created without the use of thunder? No. The powerful thunder creates nitrogen and gets mixed up with a drop of rainwater and helpful for to grow tree, and it also helpful for makes oxygen makes oxygen in the layer. Like the same way, we are SF dyes just flashes in this current webinar and gives you a drop of water as a knowledge to about the denim coloration. And after your college studies, I am very damn sure you will knock our door with a enthusiastic and eager to grow. Thank you. These are some of the slides which is tell about the denim. In our daily life, to run your human life, we need your food, water, and as well as the cloth. Among the cloth, garment made up of denim is lovable to all, right from first year baby to 80 years elders. All are eager to wear denim. These are some of the quotes related with the denim and its fading. Yes, like this. Now, the denim coloration is possible with mostly possible with two colors. One is indigo and another one is sulfur. We know denim is dyed with a blue color, which is called indigo. Since life is full of color and we are playing with the colors, only blue color will not survive in the fashion industry. So we need more color and color in our field, in our day-to-day life, to wear in the good ceremony like marriage, gathering, and everything. The beauty of this garment dyed with sulfur as a self shade or with a combination of indigo, that is the denim dyeing, which is called SBIT, that is sulfur bottom indigo top, and the IBST, which is indigo bottom and sulfur top, gives gradation of a wash down look like this, and that is the beauty of the garment. You can see in one garment we can give this type of a gradation effect in different rinse or enzyme bleach wash, and this type of washes we cannot see. It is not possible in the case of reactive, direct, and basic and dispersed dyes. This type of a fashion look effect is possible with only in sulfur dyes and a combination of sulfur and indigo dyes. Now, the properties of sulfur dyes is it's having a good color yield, excellent tinctorial value. Yes, we can get all type of shades like yellow, brown, red, orange, green. It is having fastness properties is medium to good in wash fastness and rubbing fastness, but it have a very poor fastness to the bleaching. But we have a range is called EcoVat, which it will give good fastness to the bleaching from medium to good. The application is possible in exhaust, semi-continuous, and continuous method. Yes, environmentally it is possible. If we have a precise recipe selection, recipe optimization means whatever the chemical that is which is incorporated in that sulfur dyeing. If you use the correct proportion of chemicals, the temperature, the dyeing methodology, yes, this is a very eco-friendly sulfur dyeing process. Now I am giving some definition about dyes. Dyes, a natural dye, a synthetic substance used to add color to or change the color of something. Dyes contain chromophore and oxochrome in its groups. Chromophore imparts to the dye. The important chromophores are N bond N, N bond O, C bond S, C bond O, S bond S. Oxochromes. Oxochromes intensify the color of the dye and form chemical bond to the fiber and attaches to the dye to the fiber. The important oxochromes are OH and COOH. There is another classification of dyes is the method of application to the fiber such as acidic, basic, direct and mordant and wet dyes. The uses of dyes in the textile is textile fabrics, paper, leather and wood and food industry. The application in variety of dyes is also in petroleum products such as lubricating oil, waxes, gasoline and polishes use these coloring substances. In food industry, natural dyes are generally used, but now Federation Agency has allowed to use synthetic dyes, but within a permissible limit. These are the classification of dyes that we can see in our textile book, water soluble, water insoluble, which is applicable to various textile segments. Now coming to the mechanism of dyes, since in sulfur dyes it have a S bond S link, which is a powerful bond with the carbon, and that is why these dyes are called sulfur dyes. The sulfur dyes are coming in the category of somewhat that quinone and naphthalene group, which is linked with S bond S link. Due to non-presence of hydroxyl groups, which it will not dissolve in water, and it is required a strong alkaline medium with a required redox potential. Once the dye is reduced, then it is having a affinity and substantivity to the fiber, and then it has to be converted into original form to get oxidation, that is the fixation of the color to the fiber. Now the types of sulfur dyes is we have three types. Conventional water insoluble dyes, it is available in the form of powder, and SF dye selling in the name of EcoFast. The another one is solubilized sulfur dyes. This is also available in powder form. So SF dye is selling in the name of Solcel. It can dissolve in water, but it have no affinity and substantivity to the fiber. The third one is that is widely used in the commercial one, which is pre-reduced sulfur dyes. SF dyes is selling in the product in the name of EcoSol, EcoVat, EcoPlus, and EcoTemp. EcoTemp is the low temperature sulfur dyes that we have. EcoVat is a bleach resistant sulfur dyes. The pre-reduced sulfur dyes are stabilized sulfur dyes containing carefully controlled amount of reducing agent in order to obtain best stability in storage and a color yield in usage. Since these dyes are pre-reduced, they have affinity and substantivity for the cellulose. These are the different methods of dyeing is possible in sulfur dyes in batch form and in the continuous form. In batch form, yarn in the form of from cone to cheese conversion can take for the dyeing. Another is the hang dyeing method and the beam dyeing method. In continuous form, there is a two process that is widely carried out for the denim industries like KG Denim, Arvind, Raymond, LNJ, Oswald, Shearam is also doing like a rope dyeing and slasher dyeing. This is the package dyeing method. Yarn in the form of packages inserted in the perforated rod. Color is circulated from to and fro method. We can get solid colors of sulfurs. We can do any type of colors we can use dyeing over here. This is another hang dyeing method of dyeing, that is hang dyeing method process. Here the material is stationary and the liquid is getting movement. Minimum 50 kg, maximum 300 kg hang dyeing method is possible to can dye. Another one is the cabinet dyeing machine. This is having a volume. When volume is around 300, 500, 800 kg is possible to dye with the cabinet dyeing method. This is the jigger dyeing method. If fabric we can dye with in stage of a fabric dyeing, from pre-treatment to dyeing is possible with sulfurs, and we can do with reactive direct whatever dyes. I'm not making much more elaborate in that. Now we have a process sequence for the rope dyeing and slashers. Yarn from the spinning yarn is when it is coming from cone, it is subjected into two processes. One is a rope dyeing, another one is a slasher. In rope dyeing, the process sequence is ball warping, rope dyeing, rebeaming, sizing, and drawing on the further weaving and finishing stage. In the ball warping, the yarn is gathered in rope form, means around 300 to 550 ends are gathered in a rope form. One rope having a capacity around 300 to 500 and a maximum of 600. In rope dyeing, we can have around 24 ropes to 48. Maximum we can go up to 55 ropes. All the ropes are collected in one sheet form. Then it is going to the dyeing trough having pre-wetting wash boxes and a dyeing trough, and then post wash boxes and drying and sizing everything. In the dyeing, it have around 30,000 liter of dye liquor in each traps. Maximum of 8 boxes we can dye with the indigo as well as the combination of indigo and sulfur. After dyeing is carried out, it is collected in the can. We have one video in the back side. In that, the explanation will be very clear. After in the rebeaming, it is directly going to the sizing box. Then sizing, it is going to the weaving section as per the weave of 3x1 right hand twill, left hand twill, or 3x1 plus 1x1. Everything is possible for weaving as per the weaving plan. Now coming to the direct warping. This is a direct warping machine. Yarn in the creel stage, yarn is mounted around for minimum packages we can mount 300 and maximum of 660 ends we can mount. And all the yarns getting gathered over in a one sheet form and is collected and wounded in a warping beam machine. This is a warping beam machine. Is we can run at a speed of minimum 600 RPM to maximum 1100 RPM. We have a compact beam can wound. The minimum length we can wound for the count of sevens, open end or ring, sevens, 9, 10, 12, 16 open end or ring, even 20s open end. Minimum package set length is 25,000, and the maximum for the finer count for 40s, 60s count we can wound in 90,000 in a single beam. Sorry. After wound this beam, we have to load in this creel beam to for any denim fabric. Minimum number of ends for the denim fabric is around 4,500 ends. Means we to get 4,500 we can get minimum 8 beams, maximum of 12 beams. For in case of higher number of ends, higher width is possible with if we load around 16 beams and 20 beams. After loading this in creel beam, the sheet is collected in one sheet form as shown in the diagram. The sheet is divided into top sheet and bottom sheet with the inserting of the lees rods. After the lees rod, the sheet is getting into the dye boxes. This is a typical dyeing range of slasher dyeing. It is called as a slasher dyeing. The first dye box is the pre-wetting or sulfur box. Means in yarn, natural coloring matter, oil and waxes are getting removed in the pre-wetting boxes. In the pre-wetting boxes, we can take sulfur dyes also. Means we can dye sulfur dyes. In the coming subsequent dyeing, we can have indigo dye boxes. Sulfur bottom and indigo top we can dye, and even we can dye with indigo bottom and sulfur tops in the post wash boxes, post dyeing boxes. Sorry. After the pre-wetting, the yarn goes to the steamer stage where the penetration of the chemical takes place. As if you take the sulfur box, then the color penetration is possible. The steamer is around passage length of 35 to 40 meters. the temperature is around 195 to exceeding temperature of 102 we can take. After the steamer, it is going to the pre-wash boxes. We have a 3 pre-wash boxes. Whatever the impurities present in the yarn sheet is getting removed. Then it is going to the dyeing boxes, indigo dye boxes. The minimum indigo dye boxes is 6, maximum of 8. But nowadays, to get the more color buildup, we have a dye boxes around 10 to 11. It is possible. The indigo dye boxes having a volume of around 1,500, maximum of 2,000 liter. Each dye box is having a threading length of 6.5 meter, maximum of 8 to 10 meters. In the indigo dye boxes, the color is getting dip and every aeration is possible. Means to get the color pickup means the minimum pickup is 15 to 20% pickup in each dye boxes. Indigo having this much of very less pickup, we have to make more number of dye box dip and aeration. Then only the color will build up in indigo dyeing. In case of sulfur, we can take 2 boxes, 3 boxes in sulfur in sulfur boxes as shown in the boxes. Means we can dye with the indigo bottom and sulfur box in the combination to get the contradict effect in the denim garment. After each dip and aeration, it goes to the aeration of air oxidation is possible. Minimum 35 meters, maximum of 50 meters. Then we can either take the option of a dyeing style of IBST, that is indigo bottom sulfur top in this machine. In sulfur boxes, we can take the temperature of around 45 to 60, maximum of 95-degree temperature according to the color selection. After the sulfur dyeing, the yarn sheet goes to the wash boxes. In the wash boxes, the middle box we can take for the oxidation to develop the sulfur boxes. Then it is going to the drying range cylinder. After the drying range cylinder, it is going to this is the typical dye boxes. Inside the dye boxes, we have a number of rollers. The yarn sheet inserted in the roller with a to and fro diagram. With this to and fro motion of that yarn sheet, the liquor is getting mobilized. Then the penetration is possible much more. We have a heavy 2 skews rollers. These skews rollers are made up of with ebonite rollers having a shore hardness of 80 to 90. The bottom of the rollers having a hardness around 110. It may be ebonite roll, it may be a skews rolls. The companies that producing this type of slasher dyeing is Jupiter Dyeing, Carl Mayer, Morrison, Griffin, like this. The right side of the diagram shows we can lift the dye bath whenever there is a lapper or any yarn sheet entanglements happen in the dye bath liquor. After the drying, indigo dyeing takes place. The yarn sheet divided into 2 sheet, as I already told, in top sheet and bottom sheet. It is subjected to the sizing process. After the sizing process, it is going to the drying stage. Then it is going to the accumulator. Here the accumulator, the function of this accumulator is collected over here because it is a continuous process. The yarn is gathered over here with a roller of around 50 to 60 rollers. The accumulator can lift with the hydraulic piston, which is going to the movement of up direction. During the beam change of a headstock, the beam creel, the yarn is lifted over here to collect around 150 meters. We can lift 5 to 7 minutes. We can gather over here. Then it is going to the splitting sheet rods. Then it is going to the weaver's beam. We have one 10 to 15 minutes video. In that video, we can know about how the indigo dyeing process takes place in both rope dyeing as well as the slasher dyeing. We will enjoy this video very well.
Warp yarns dyed using blue indigo dye, and the filling yarns being left undyed. Also, there are a number of alternatives for denim dyeing that are routinely used to obtain specific fabric appearance or performance. With the advent of denim garment washing techniques, the construction and dyeing techniques used are of utmost importance. The selection of yarn, The consistencies of the indigo dyeing process and its modifications have become crucially important in determining the quality and performance of indigo denim products. The properties of the indigo dye account for the wide variety of color designs that are available on denim products. Indigo is unique as a major textile dye because the indigo dyeing process naturally ring dyes the cotton yarns. Unlike almost all other commercially successful dyestuffs, the indigo dye concentrates in the outer layers of the yarn during the dyeing process. This produces an intense ring of color around a white core in the yarn, thus the name ring dyeing. With most dyes, if ring dyeing occurs, it's considered a dyeing defect. Also, indigo dye, an intense blue, is insoluble in water and will not dye cotton fiber. In order to dye cotton yarn, the indigo must first be converted into a water-soluble leucoform and then applied. This chemical process is known as a reduction. Reducing solutions containing sodium hydrosulfite and sodium hydroxide chemically change the indigo dye into its soluble form. This process also converts the dye from its intense blue color to a very pale greenish-yellow color. The outer layers of the yarn readily absorb this leucoform of indigo. Once in the yarn, the indigo is returned to the insoluble form by oxidation. During oxidation, the ropes of yarn pass through the air in a process called skying. The oxygen in the air converts the dye back to its original insoluble form, and its blue color returns. In traditional rope or ball warp dyeing, the following steps are involved: scouring, indigo dye application, rinsing, and drying. The ropes are first fed into one or more scouring baths, which consist of wetting agents and detergents. The purpose of these baths is to remove naturally occurring impurities found on the cotton fiber, such as dirt, minerals, ash, and pectin. Additionally, the waxy layer on the fiber, which repels water, is also removed. It's very important to remove these materials to guarantee uniform wetting and dyeing. The ropes are subsequently fed into 2 or more water rinsing baths. The key to this process is the dyeing segment, where the indigo dye is added in layers to the outer surfaces of the yarn. In rope or ball warp dyeing, the yarn is passed into a vat of soluble indigo dye that exhausts on the surface of the yarn and is then oxidized. This results in a small amount of dye being deposited on the surface, yielding only a light blue dyed yarn. In order to obtain a deeper blue indigo shade, the dye must be built in layers by multiple passes of the rope of yarn into the subsequent vats of soluble dye and then into the air for oxidation. Each of these cycles is called a dip. Normally, this process is repeated from 3 to 9 dips in order to build up a rich, deep blue color. If even darker shades are desired, a sulfur black or sulfur navy dye can be applied to the yarn prior to the indigo dyeing. This is known as a sulfur bottom. If the sulfur dye is applied after the indigo, it's known as a sulfur top. When a sulfur bottom is required, the scoured ropes of yarn are then fed into a bath of a reduced sulfur black dye. Similar to indigo, sulfur dyes are water insoluble. They must be reduced to a water-soluble form prior to application. Unlike indigo, the sulfur dye can penetrate into the core of the cotton fiber, thus darkening the overall color shade. Once the reduced sulfur dye is applied to the ropes of yarn, the dye is allowed to oxidize to its normal water-insoluble form. The ropes are then fed into 1 or more water rinse baths. These baths remove any unfixed sulfur dye that might contaminate the indigo dyeing process. Then the normal indigo dyeing process begins. In rope dyeing, ball warps are continuously fed into the rope or chain dyeing range for application of the indigo dye. Typically, 12 to 36 individual ropes of yarn are simultaneously fed side by side into the range. The ropes are kept separate from each other throughout the various parts of the dye range. Each rope of yarn typically contains 250 to 400 individual cotton yarns. The actual number of ends in each ball is determined by the number of ends that are required on each section beam. For example, if we have 30 ropes on a dye range, and each rope has 350 ends, Then the die range will be producing a die set with 10,500 ends. The dyed yarns from each rope are separated onto a section beam. In this die set, there would be a total of 30 section beams. In most cases, this would mean that this die set could be broken down into two subsets of 15 section beams, with each containing 5,250 ends. The ropes of yarn are then fed into the reduced indigo dye baths. Once reduced, the indigo dye takes on a pale greenish-yellow shade. The yards are then skied as much as 30 to 40 feet into the air to allow the oxygen in the air to convert the indigo back to its normal water-insoluble blue shade. As the yarns oxidize, they change from a light greenish-yellow shade through various darkening shades of blue-green until they become the deep blue indigo shade. Denim shades require as few as 3 or as many as 9 dips and skying processes. The ropes are then rinsed in several water baths to remove any unfixed or surface dye deposits. Another option would be to add a sulfur top after the indigo dye has been applied. The sulfur dye still migrates toward the core of the fiber, but the sulfur top produces a different type of color performance, especially in garment washing procedures. The sulfur top process is followed by 1 or more water rinses to remove any unfixed dye. After rinsing, the yarn ropes pass through squeeze rolls to mechanically extract water. The yarns are then dried and coiled into large tubs. The typical drying apparatus is multiple stacks of drying cans. These metal cylinders are filled with pressurized steam. Care must be taken not to over-dry the yarn, or the dye will excessively migrate to the surface of the yarn, increasing the tendency of the color to crock. Additionally, if the surface of the drying can is too hot, the yarn can be overstressed, producing an undesirable shiny or ironed appearance. Coiling takes place after drying. The ropes exit the drying cans and are lifted high into the air and then coiled into large trucks or tubs. Each individual rope is placed into a separate truck. After drying, the color of the yarn is checked either visually or instrumentally. With many indigo dye ranges, the color of the yarn is continuously monitored by a color spectrophotometer, which is electronically linked to the controls of the indigo dye baths. This type of control system can automatically adjust the dynamics of the process to obtain the most consistent color from the beginning to the end of the many thousands of yards of yarn contained within a single dye lot. In order to minimize the color variability often seen between denim panels after garment washing, denim manufacturers will try to use the same dye set or lot to fill a customer's order. Each roll is sampled, and a piece of fabric from each is sewn together into a patchwork blanket and garment washed using the customer's garment washing recipe. The swatches are then shade sorted using a color computer, and if they fall within the guidelines of the customer, the cloth is shipped to the customer. Once the warp yarns are rope dyed, it's then necessary to change the yarn alignment from rope form to sheet form prior to entering the next process, which is slashing or sizing. Beaming or rebeaming involves pulling the dyed ropes of yarn out of storage tubs and moving them upward to a guiding device, sometimes called a satellite. This upward travel allows the ropes to untangle before reaching the beamer head. Once the ropes come down from the guiding device, they go through tensioning rollers to help further separate the yarns prior to going through a comb at the warper. The comb separates individual yarn ends and keeps them parallel to one another. From the comb, the warp yarns are guided onto a flanged section beam. Depending on the length of each rope, multiple section beams can be made, forming a set of beams. These beams are grouped by die set, as well as what section of the die set they were dyed. For example, a 30,000-yard die set, we'll call die set 100, may be broken down into 3 sets of 10,000-yard beams. The first 10,000 yards would be die set 100A from the top of the rope tub. The second 10,000 yards would be die set 100B from the middle of the rope tub, and the last 10,000 yards would be set 100C from the bottom of the rope tub. The mill would then slash and weave all beams from set 100A together, set 100B together, and set 100C together. Each set will normally contain 8 to 14 section beams. The total number of yarns on all the beams should be equal to the total number of ends in the fabric. For some producers, sheet or slasher dyeing of indigo has become a reasonable alternative method. Slasher ranges are normally only used to apply size onto the warp yarns prior to weaving, however. They can be adapted to fit onto the exit end of a sheet dyeing range to make dyeing and slashing a one-step process. A sheet dyeing slasher range used for indigo dyeing consists of a creel of section beams for the warp yarn. This yarn is sheet-fed into a scouring section where the natural impurities are removed. After the impurities are removed, the indigo dye is applied. Just like indigo rope dyeing, in order to achieve fairly deep shades, the indigo is applied in a series of multiple dip and sky applications to allow for the buildup of shade. If the arrangement of the sheet dyeing range does not allow for multiple dip and sky cycles, then only light and medium shades can be obtained from indigo dyes. The dye application is followed by afterwashing, and the yarns can either be thoroughly dried or left with some moisture in the yarns before they enter an accumulator. The accumulator ensures that the dye range does not have to stop while the slasher has a loom beam doffed or a new beam started. In the slasher section, a normal sizing operation occurs where a weaving size is applied to protect the yarn. Slasher or sheet dyeing ranges have a number of advantages and unique characteristics. Sheet dyeing uses section beams instead of ball warps to form a sheet of yarns, which are wound directly onto loom beams. As discussed in rope dyeing, additional handling of the yarn is required. Slasher dyeing works well when manufacturing lightweight denims. In general, slasher ranges require minimal floor space, enable smaller production runs to be more profitable, have rapid turnover time, and are highly flexible in their response to changes in the market. Additionally, the slasher dyeing technique can be used for other types of dyes for cotton, thereby producing a wide variety of colors other than indigo blue. Another dyeing technique that has been used for dyeing warp yarn for denim is beam dyeing. In this technique, hundreds of individual yarns are wound parallel to each other around a perforated flanged beam. The beam is then loaded into a cylindrical dye vessel that is sealed so that dye liquor can be pumped through the perforations in the beam and then through the yarn. After dyeing, the yarn is afterwashed, extracted, dried, and then added to other beams to form a full set for slashing and then weaving. This technique does not lend itself to the unique dyeing properties of indigo. Therefore, it's normally used with other dye types, including reactives, directs, sulfurs, and vats, resulting in a wide range of colors. This is also a well-known and accepted technique for many different constructions of cloth other than denim. It's possible for denim fabrics to be finished and sold without going through any dyeing process. These fabrics are known as natural denims and sometimes are called bull denims. These natural state denim fabrics exhibit the off-white cream color of natural cotton. After finishing, cutting, and sewing into garments, natural denims can be used like traditional denim garments, or they can go through garment dyeing and other wet processing to yield various properties. These garments will not show the color contrast effects shown by traditional denim garment processing because both warp and filling yarns will be dyed. These natural denims can also be bleached to yield market or finished white denim products. Continuous dyeing techniques are also used to dye natural denim fabrics into solid shades. This method is not normally used for indigo, but is commonly used for sulfur, vat, or reactive dyes. After dyeing, these denim fabrics can be finished using the typical denim finishing sequence.
Yes, thank you. 1 minute. Thank you for watching this video. I think students they came to know how the indigo and the sulfur is dyed with rope dyeing and slasher dyeing. Now coming to the points we consider while dyeing with sulfur dyes. These are some of the points, some of the thumb rules. Pretreatment recipe selection, yes, it is important. Pretreatment recipe selections is necessary for to get the better dye uptake in sulfur. Normally, the pretreatment is carried out with the caustic, wetting agent, and sequestering agent. The selection, the amount of pretreatment is based on the percentage shade. Normally, the percentage shade of sulfur is takes around 3%, 6%, 8%. Maximum we can go up to 16 and 22 in the case of a black. The dyeing recipe selection is very much important. According to the percentage shade, the dye bath GPL is necessary to maintain. In case of 5% to 6%, the dye bath GPL for the two sulfur boxes around 50 to 60 GPL. In case of 10%, 12%, we have to go up to 120 GPL. Their chemical recipe sequence. Yes, in sulfur dyes, it's involved high alkalinity and along with high redox potential, it's required. So for that, the chemical is we are using in sulfur dyes is sequestering agent, caustic, and reducing agent. Reducing agent in the form of polysulfates or glucose base, and wetting agent. To get homogeneous mixture, it is required the process sequence of the color recipe in the stock wet preparation as well as the dye bath preparation. So if you take 1,000 liter of dye liquor, the process correct sequence of the chemical recipe is first we have to take 250 liter of the water, add the sequestering agent, then 2 to 3 minutes stirrer, then add the caustic flakes to maintain the pH of the dye bath, then 2-3 minutes stirrer, then continue add the reducing agent, then stirrer, then add the sulfur dye as per the required GPL. How to the stock wet is to be prepared: 100, yeah, 150, 200, and maximum 500 GPL. After continuous 5 minutes stirrer, then it is going to the add of the wetting agent, then stirrer for 2-3 minutes to settle down the foam generation and everything, then finally make up the volume of 1,000 liter. This is the correct way of method of the process sequence. And the dosing method, yes, we can dose with the help of prominent dosing pump, and the Indian methodology is called a cup dosing system. It is possible. The machine parameter and process control. Machine parameter involves the speed of the machine, the squeeze pressure and temperature. The process control is that pH and the redox, how much to be maintained. The recipe optimization is very much important. That is the correct proportion of the each individual chemical, not to add more, not to add less. It's required. Amount of the sequestering agent, wetting agent, reducing agent, how much to be add for that particular concentration of the dye bath is very much important. Please students, don't do this. Who is doing this? 1 minute please. This is a typical pre-wetting recipe that generally carried out for the 3 to 4% shade, and for the darker shades, the normal pre-wetting is around 3 to 5 GPL wetting agent. Our SF is selling the wetting agent in the name of Safoc Hyperwet NSF. The sequestering agent is the Denimo Secudent FBN. In normal pre-wetting, we can take either caustic, or we can option for we can omit the caustic in normal pre-wetting. For in the case of heavy darker shade, the Mercer pre-wetting is carried out with the help of caustic around 30 to 50 GPL. Wetting agent, we can go higher 8 to 12 GPL for the better penetration. And the secudent FBN is sequestering agent 2 to 3 GPL. And yes. And the machine parameter is number of dye box selections. Number of dye box selections is normally for sulfur dyeing is carried out for 3 boxes and a maximum of 4 boxes in the case of higher shades. The steamer selections, yes, steamer is required for the better penetration, better color yield of the dye. The temperature in boxes. Temperature in boxes based on the color selection. Suppose if you take blue and olive shades, the temperature is around 50 to 55 degree temperature. If you take the sulfur dye of green colors, 60 to 70 degree temperature. Yellow brown, coffee brown, and red, this type of temperature we can dye with 80 to 90 degree temperature. In the case of gray and black shades, the temperature is around 85 to 95 degree temperature. The machine speed The machine speed normally for the rope dyeing is carried out average speed of 26 meters per minute for 3% shade. Uh, if we have a higher depth, then machine speed is around 18 to 22 meters per minute. In the case of slashers, the average speed is 30 meters per minute. We can go up to 35-38 meters per minute according to the percentage, and as per the selection of the dyeing style, whether it is we have to take a sulfur bottom indigo top and indigo bottom sulfur top, we can vary the speed around 26 to 32 meters per minute. The wash flow for the pre-washes and post wash boxes, the wash flow rate 1 to 3 liters per kg. Oxidation recipe, yes, oxidation recipe is very much required for the color fixation and as well as the color development. Oxidation is normally carried out with a bromide based oxidation recipe. Sodium bromide we are recommending. People are now they are doing hydrogen peroxide and sodium bichromate or sodium dichromate, but we are not recommending, because hydrogen peroxide which liberates the nascent oxygen in the higher alkalinity, which will, instead of color development, it is possible to make bleaching of that color component, that will make the reduction of that dye component. On the dichromate and bichromate, due to the presence of chromium in the chemical, it is banned to that it is banned. And as well as the chromium, which is it will take much more chemical required for the degradation in the ETP plant. This is also banned, so we are not recommending hydrogen peroxide, any kind of another that sodium perporate and the sodium bichromate and sodium dichromate. Yes, another the pH. pH is very much required for the better exhaustion. It has to be maintained around 12 to 12.5. The redox potential is around minus 600 millivolt to 650 millivolt. Redox potential is maintained with the help of a redox meter, platinum electrodes. This is the 5 basic thumb rule for the sulfur dyeing. One is the pH. It has to be maintained with 12.2 to 12.5. The redox potential minus 620 millivolt to 650 millivolt. The temperature range 55 to 90 degree temperature. We have a low temperature. This is possible with eco temp is our low temperature rate. In the case of finer count 30s 40s, we can do the much less degradation of the fiber we can do. Even we can do with lyocell, tensile, also with low temperature dyes. The oxidation is carried out with sodium perporate, as already told. The pH of that oxidation is around 4 to 4.5, and the millivolt that we have to maintain around plus 150 to plus 250 millivolt. The recipe optimization this is very much important. We have to maintain with the optimum recipe in the sulfur dyeing with precise dosing selection, precise recipe, and each and every there is not required to add more amount of the required concentration of each and every dyeing, the caustic, the reducing agent, the wetting agent, and sequestering agent. Yes, these are the color range that we have shade available in our range: yellow, brown, chocolate colors, green colors, blue colors, orange colors, gray colors, as well as the black colors. On the left side is the combination of 2 sulfur dyes, combination of dyes with if we want to produce some contract more deepened shades. The right side is our winter collection shades that we have. And this is the typical rope dyeing with the dyes is taken with Ecosol tan yellow. This is the brown color. We have different concentration with 25 GPL, 10 GPL, 55 GPL. We can produce this type of brown color gradation. And this is the brown ES2K is dyed with rope dyeing. Left side is the dyeing, and the middle one is the dyed lati. And the right side is the related garment that is made up of that brown ES2K color. And another one is our Ecosol denim blue EL. Left side is the dyed hang dyeing form, in the sheet dyeing form. On the right side is the after garmenting, the washing and everything will take place. That is the garmenting form. And this is the green cast, means dyed with sulfur and indigo. Sulfur is taken in the pre-wetting box. The green color taken around 25 to 35 GPL. Then subsequent washing, and then continue for the 3 to 3.5% indigo with 8 dips. We can produce this type of green cast, a combination of sulfur bottom, indigo top, green cast denim garment. And this is the self shade sulfur for the black shades. The white portion we can see with the application of the potassium permanganate spray with after application of potassium permanganate and treatment with a 60 to 70 degree temperature, we can fade out the sulfur, the bleachable sulfur. We can get this type of white on particular area. The right side is the blue color faded with the potassium permanganate spray. And this is the left side is the, in one shade we can produce with different rinse wash, enzyme wash, enzyme bleach wash, heavy bleach wash. We can produce this type of contradict shade cards. And the right side is the printing. On the indigo base we can print the sulfur. I already told we have a EcoVat, which is the bleach resistance. We can print that sulfur on the white, on the indigo base dyed. After washing, the bleached sulfur dyed goods, which will not bleaching. So we can get this type of contradict effect of bleaching effect in the printed goods. And this is the in the pre-treated ecru fabric we can dye in the garment stage. We can get this type of a deep dark shades in sulfur. Yes. We can play over with colors. We can spray the pigment colors on the sulfur dyed goods. This type of contradict effect gradation look we can get with the sulfurs. This is the printed on dyed goods of indigo. The left side shows the same. We can print with sulfur, or we can combination with another color selection and pigments. The right side is dyed with the EcoVat bleach colors on the indigo dyed base. These are another printed sulfur goods on indigo base or in the sulfur dyed over printed. These are the self shades of yellow, green and blue color sulfur dyed. And the middle one is the combination of a blue bottom and a blue topping, indigo topping sulfur. Thank you. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you once again. Thank you.